Okay, in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a really nice and simple template for your trading card game. Um, it's not going to be anything too detailed. Let's see, I'll go ahead and open up something to show you here what we have for ours. Yeah, so this is what we use. This is our creature template. It's like our monster cards. This is our supporter template. These are like our spell cards in our game, and then everything you see here is just different things we have. To make sure that the cards are uniform when we make them, so we know where to put these certain things on the card, to where it's like every time we have a card, the things that need to be consistently in the same place are consistently in the same place. Like these are uh, our resources. It's basically our cost for our cards, and we're not going to do anything like this in this video today. This is going to be something in a different video. It's going to make a whole series on making a trading card game, but we're going to be laying the foundation for your template to where you can eventually get to something like this. It's going to be really simple today, though. You can see there's a lot of detail on the borders of the cards and just all the different things. You're not going to be able to do this just right off the bat. You have to know first off, like all the different things you're going to have on your card for sure. Are you going to have cost, attack, defense? Are you going to have extra stats like maybe speed or something, like some special traits, like how magic has reach, flying? You have to know the different things you're going to have on your card before you start to put a lot of detail in it. And you're definitely going to add things as you go. This is just going to be for people who are like, hey, I have an idea and I want to start bringing it to life. I want to start test playing my idea. So what we're going to be doing in this video is making a really simple template for you guys to be able to print the cards, cut them out, put them in front of cards and sleeves, and test play your cards. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right. We're going to go over, let's see here. All right, so you want to make sure, first and foremost, you see these numbers down here, 1454 by 1508. You want this to be your canvas size, okay? Because paint, when it prints, it's based off of the image and canvas size together. It's like a ratio type of deal. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I know with the card size we're going to be using, which is 460 by 683, compared to this canvas size, you're going to get Yu-Gi-Oh size cards or Vanguard size cards, all right? And the reason we're using those size cards is because they're going to fit in both Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic sleeves. So whichever you want to play, those are going to fit in both, all right? And if you want to do standard size cards like Magic, we're going to have a video in Photoshop on that. But for now, we're in Paint because this is like a beginner's guide. I'm assuming that if people are just starting this process, they might have not invested in a program like Photoshop yet, which is completely fine. You've seen what we did with our templates in Paint. You're not as limited as you might think you are, but other programs are better for sure. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this rounded rectangle tool. All right, we're going to make it red because we want to be able to see the outside of our card border. We're going to make it black later. I would recommend making all the outlines of everything black, but the borders and the card, like the boxes, they can be whatever color you want, but we're going to use the super simple color scheme in this video. Okay, so let's go ahead and, all right, so as we, let me show you this. Okay, so as we're dragging right over here, you can see these numbers down here. This is the size. Okay, this is the size, just like how this is the size of our canvas. This is the size of what we're dragging right here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go 460 by 683. So let's see, 683. All right, and if you don't get it exactly on the pixel, it's fine. If it's like 461 by 682 or 685 or something like that, it's not a big deal. These are just cards for test playing. If you wanted to get actual physical cards, we're going to make a video on that as well. We actually just recently published our game ourselves. If you want to go check it out, there's going to be a link in the description of this video. All right, so we got 461 by 683. But yeah, you can check out our game if you want to. It's called Ruin. It's pretty cool. We put a lot of time into it. Anyways, let's continue with this right here. So we got the outside of our card, okay? This is, the very outside of our card. This is not quite our border yet, but we're going to go ahead and do our border now. All right, we're going to decide how thick do we want our border to be. So we're going to make it black this time. This line's going to be black. The rest of these lines are going to be black. You just want this outer one red so you could see it really well. And I'll tell you why in a minute. We'll get there. All right, so we're going to grab the rounded rectangle tool again. Okay, it's going to be black this time. And here you can decide how thick you want your border to be. Okay, the space right here in between this red and black line, this is your border for your card. All right, this is the trim basically. If you want to use a really bright color, I would recommend making it thinner, like something like this. If you want to use a color like black, brown, gray, which is what I usually would prefer on the border of a card, you probably can make it a little thicker. But it's it's completely up to you. It's your card game, your card. Do what you want to do with it. The thickness of this border is not like super essentially important. I'm just going to do what I prefer. So it doesn't have to be perfect. This looks okay to me. And we're going to go ahead and click. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start to create our boxes. So we're going to put 3 things on this card, and they're the 3 things that are really on every card in every trading card game. Now, you can have a bunch of different stats and special things about your card game, but you're typically going to have a box for the card's name, a picture box for the card's artwork, and a text box for whatever the card does, okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and make sure we pay attention to these numbers down here. These numbers that we're doing right now, okay, so that very outside of all the boxes, which is, this is the name box, and we're still using the rounded rectangle tool for the name box. Yeah, this tool up here. Okay, so we got 424 by 72. We're gonna go ahead, make sure this looks at least decently even. That's fine. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're gonna go ahead and grab the text tool up here, okay? And we're gonna save that. What was it for? Oh, let's just I believe it was 424 by 72, but we're gonna go ahead and redo it just to make sure. So make sure you have this number saved. There's a reason for it, okay? You don't always have to. Sometimes it's easier, but just in case, make sure you have this number. So what do we got? 426 by 65. A little different this time. Nothing wrong with that. So 426 by 65. Okay, so we'll go. I don't want the italics, so it's just gonna bug me. Make this a little bigger. 426 by 65. Okay. Believe that was it. If not, it's fine. It doesn't have to be exact. Like I said, you just need to generally seem to be in the ballpark. Oh my lord, terrible today. Okay, 26 by 65. It's just like writing these numbers down. Having these numbers is going to make it to where you don't have to do as much trimming, basically. Okay, and that's the downside with Paint as opposed to something like Photoshop where you're working in layers. You have like transparency in Paint, so actually we need to do that. So all right, so we're right under where it says select. Go ahead and click on this arrow. Okay, this is going to be important. You're going to have this on the whole video. Where it says transparent selection, make sure it's checked. All right, so it's either going to look like, let's see, like, oh, I guess it won't let me unselect it, but make sure it's checked. If this box is not checked, click on this, okay? You need to do that, and you'll see what it does. But yeah, that's really one of the downsides to Paint is that you have to trim. You have to trim on the outsides of things, and that's what these numbers are for, to minimize the trimming, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and create the border for our name box. All right, so we're going to grab the rounded rectangle tool again. It's going to be black. And we're going to decide how thick we want this border. And remember, this is completely up to you. This is just my personal preference, okay? I say that's probably fine right there. And actually, let's go ahead and put next to our numbers what they are. So we'll go name. All right, so it's the name box. Alrighty, now we're going to go ahead and use the square tool or the rectangle tool. All right, it's still going to be black. This is the picture box. I like to make this square. I've done the rounded rectangle on a few templates before. We don't need too much space right here. There's certain parts of the cards which, like this area and the area in the bottom, you want to leave space because you want to put things there. But I don't typically use any space right here. You know, it's really going to depend on your card game though. If you feel like you need this room, and you can leave a little bit more room for yourself to write something. But I'll show you where I like to write things, and we'll kind of show you what text can do as far as making your card look a certain way. Text can do a lot, okay? All right, so now we're going to make our border for our picture box. And once again, it's just up to you. And I usually like the picture box to be a little bigger than everything else. Okay, so that's our name box, our picture box, the borders on both. And now we're going to make the last thing. I'll use the rectangle tool, rounded rectangle tool. We're going to make the effect box. This is where our card is going to tell us what it does. Is this bad boy right? Yeah. Okay. So that's good. We left some room down here. We could leave a little bit more room actually. Maybe like that. Oh, we forgot to size our picture box. That's fine. It's no big deal. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get this size. So 424 by 235 for our text box. 424 by 235, I believe it was. 424 by 235. It's like 5 in the morning, by the way, so if I'm just saying ridiculous things or getting things wrong, I apologize, but hopefully you get the gist of things. Now we'll go ahead and just call it effect box. Okay, hopefully you get the gist of things. Hopefully you kind of understand what's going on here. It's really a simple process, to be honest. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, it really doesn't. Once you see what I'm doing, you're gonna like really figure out quickly, okay, this is pretty simple, and there's different ways you can go about it. And when you mess up, it's easy to clean it up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put the bound. Oh, we're using the rounded rectangle tool again in black. We're gonna create the border for our text box now. All right, and one thing to know is if you have a program like Photoshop, you don't always have to create borders like this. You can do things where like the outside of this box fades into the card or something. If you have a program besides Paint, there's some really cool things you can do, but we're going to work with what we have for now. Okay, so let's go ahead and move this over here. Now we're going to start adding some textures to our card. We're going to do the borders first, all right? So what we're going to do, this is why it's important to have this transparency clicked. If you don't have it clicked, it's just things are going to overlap. It's going to be all bad. What we're going to do is we're going to grab this paint bucket, all right? And we want to do our borders right now. So we're going to go ahead and right click, not left click, right click, all right? And it's going to, yes, I know these are already white, but what this is going to do, if you click them white, and you have transparency on, it's going to ensure that they're transparent. Sometimes in Paint, for some reason, I'm sure you'll see it in this video, if you don't click white, if you don't fill in white on something, just pieces of it aren't transparent. I don't understand why. It's just Paint. It's a magical program. Okay, so we filled in our borders white. We'll go ahead and we'll just grab blue. All right, make sure you grab something besides red, black, or white for this next part. All right, you want it to be a different color. We're going to go ahead and fill in anything that's not a border, okay, because we're doing the borders right now. So we're going to fill in the name box, the picture box, the effect box, and the card itself. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to head and go to Google, and you're going to pick your color here. For this, I'm going to do some really simple colors. It's probably going to be like a black, white, and gray card. So let's go black texture for this, all right. We'll just grab something that's a reasonable size, not too large. We'll grab this. This is fine. Why not? And what's good about these textures is you can kind of stretch them because they're not at, oh my goodness. I guess we're not going to use that. Okay. Oh, and it messed up our canvas size. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's just way too large. Oh my gosh, it's so big. I didn't realize how big it was. Is this not the one I clicked? Wow, what happened there? What happened? What happened? Okay, so there we go. That's more like it. So it looks like it's not quite long enough. So we're going to go ahead and stretch it a little bit. And so when you stretch images in Paint like what I'm about to do, they just get all messed up. So that's why, if you're going to stretch and mess with the sizes of things, do it with the textures, but not with actual images. I'll show you when we get there what it does. It's not good. But, with a texture like this where it's all just pixelated and kind of crazy looking, it doesn't matter too much. You can stretch it and pull it to fit your cards. Oh, yeah. So this is where the numbers come in handy. So let's see. We got 460 by 683, right? So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and, oh, and if you're wondering how I'm moving things around, I have the select tool right here. I'm sorry. I have the select tool, and I'm simply just dragging over them like this. Okay, and then there's two different types of arrows that pop up. You can see this one. This is how you stretch and pull things, and this is how you move things. So we're going to go ahead and just move this down here for now. Okay. We're going to do that. We're going to select a 460 by 683 piece from this. All right, so let's see. I actually don't think this is long enough. We're going to rotate it because it's not long enough. So we're going to go, oh no, I stretched it. 4 in the morning, guys. 4 in the morning. 460 by 683. Okay. Let's see. All right, 686. I guess it's not long enough. Oh, okay, I'll start from the very top. It probably is. And 6. Yep, it is. Perfect. 680. So we'll go 430. Right? Or 440. Go and check. 460. 460. 460. Goodness. So we'll go 460 by 683. All right, and the reason you want to, oh my God. And the reason you want to do this as opposed to just dragging the card over, I'll just go ahead and show you. So if I just take this and I drag the card over it, like so, let me make this, see, this is where like a perfect example of how you have to fill in things white. For some reason, even though we already filled it in white, we're having to do it again just to ensure that it's transparent. Because you could see when I pulled the card over it just now, you couldn't see through all these white pieces. So we're going to go ahead and drag the card over. All right. And there's all this stuff around the edge to trim. Okay, and it's not a huge deal. It's not a huge problem. But what I like to do is just select the piece out of here and then get rid of the rest of it. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so 460 by 683. We'll pull this down here so we have some room up there. Okay, start at the very top. All right, 460. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Oh my goodness, that's completely fine. All right, so now we'll pull this out over here, and we save ourselves some trimming. And we might not even have to do that, honestly, with the other boxes. But if we do, you know, we have the numbers here now. So aside from the picture box, we have the numbers there now. So you know, if we do have to do this process like what I'm doing right now, we have the numbers. It's all good. Let's go ahead and take our card now. All right, and it's transparent because we made it so. Take our card, and we're going to go ahead and drag it over this bad boy. So there shouldn't be really too much trimming involved. And you see how I told you to make the border red? It's because you want to be able to see it. Like if it was black, it'd be really hard to see the edges of this border right now. And we do still have to do some trimming, unfortunately. And that's just the downside of paint. You know, it's just, this is why you want to use a better program, because right now we're going to have to go in here. So I grabbed the zoom tool right here, magnifier, and I just left clicked until it got really big. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the eraser now. All right, and I'm just going to get rid of all these little extra black marks. Yeah, and in a program like Adobe, it's not really pixelated. So like if I created a border like this red border that I have, I could just change the color anytime entirely, and you'll see what we're going to have to do in a program like Paint, but it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not taking us too long to do this. It will definitely to put in a lot of detail, but for now, it's completely fine. All right, so trim these edges. And I'll have a timestamp in the description so you can just skip past anything tedious like this. You know, if you've already seen what I'm doing, I'm sure by the first corner you figured out what I was going to do with the other three. But I mean, if you want to watch it all the way through, slow time, real time, yeah, be my guest. I'm someone like that. I prefer to do that. So, you know what? We'll go ahead and make this border black right now. All right, so we're going to go ahead and grab this paint tool, black, boom. Make sure we're zoomed all the way in. We are. All right, so we got the paint tool, got the color black, and we're just going to fill all these in right now. All right, and there really is not a faster way to do this. I don't believe so. All right, and like I said, there will be a timestamp, you know, skipping past this stuff if you don't want to watch me do this. Don't know why I'm talking like this now. I don't know. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this done so we can get to the next. Oh my goodness, that can happen. Just click undo, right up here. You know, just like any other program you've ever used in your life, there's an undo button. Wonderful, right? Technology does some things right. Some things sometimes. Okay, almost done. I believe this is the last corner, right? Got the other one already? Okay, that's probably the most tedious part of this whole process as far as designing the template actually goes. There's definitely more tedious processes than that. If you want to design an entire card game on Paint, we know that from experience, but yeah, as far as designing a basic template like this, it should be pretty simple from here. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to decide what color do we actually want our card. Okay, we definitely don't want it this color. We don't want it looking like this. We want it textured like how this black border is. It's textured, it's nice. So we're going to go ahead and grab our paint bucket. We're going to fill this area in. This is the area of our card. This is what this is what the background of our card is going to be. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to pick a gray texture. I'm doing really simple color schemes. You decide what you want to do. You know, there's no wrong answer here. It's whatever look you want to get for your card game. Let's pick something a reasonable size. That's a slight bit bigger than our. I don't want to be too big here. I like this one. Why not? It's pretty big actually, but yeah, that's okay. It's actually very big. We're gonna go ahead and just stretch this, all right, as opposed to using our little number system we have, because it's textured. It's not gonna look too terrible if we pull it and stretch it. As you can see, it still looks like a jumbled mess, just like it did before. No big problem, right? So let's make sure it's good. So we're just pulling it to the size essentially of our card to where we won't have to trim on the outside. That's all we're doing here. So let's go ahead and make this white one more time, just to ensure it's transparent, because, you know, paint. And we'll drag this over, and I believe that is good. All right, so that doesn't look too bad, right? Or maybe it does. I don't know. To me, it looks fine, though. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and decide what color we want our name box and our effect box to be. I'm going to probably just say somewhat of an off-white for this. Black, gray, and white is the color scheme we're going to use. So a textured white. So let's go into Google Images. And what we're doing here is we're just typing whatever color we want and texture in Google Images. I'm sure you could figure that out by watching this video. But that's it. It's just white. All I've done is type in black, gray, and white texture, and these have popped up. And then I pick whatever I like. Well, I really like that a lot. I think I'm just gonna go with something like what in the world? I don't know why it looks like that when I click on it. It's ridiculous. I'll just go with. I like this a lot. It's a little big, but I like it a lot, so we're gonna go with it. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and let's see if we could do this without using our little number system down here. I'm sure we can. So let's see. Actually, you know what? We'll do this here. So we'll paste this, and we'll just size it to where we don't have to trim anything, right? So we'll go like this. Move it over. Boom. We'll take our card, and you know, remember when you're moving things, it's a select tool. All right. I'm sorry if I'm going too fast or anything like that. I guess I assume people know how to use paint, but you know, shouldn't be assuming things in a tutorial, I suppose. All right, so that's that. That looks not too bad. We're gonna do it again, and again we're gonna size it. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Drag it over once again with the select tool. Oh, let's move it down a little bit. We were going to go too high, so we were going to do this basically a second ago. The card was going to be like up here, and it would cut it off, top of the card. So you want to make sure you're not cutting anything off on your images or your cards or whatever. So there's that. So there's our template right there. All right, so now we're going to white out the picture box. So this looks pretty plain. This looks kind of nice, but boring, right? But this is our template. This is what we're going to use essentially for whatever cards you want to use it for. Your monster cards, your spell cards, whatever, you know. Well, let's see what it looks like if we maybe add a picture and some text. All right, I'll show you the different things you can do. Let's go blue eyes, white dragon. All right, let's see. I think there's an image I like here somewhere that I used one time before. Let's see. What size is that? That's huge. That's freaking huge. Where's this image at? All right, so the video is pretty much done. I created the template, but I'm going to show you guys what it can look like with things on it, like a picture and text and whatnot. So, just so you're not underwhelmed by what I've shown you so far. I think once you see the finished product, even though this is like a beginner's template and it's just something that's super simple and easy to do, it's really clean. It's really nice looking, honestly. I think so. Well, let's go ahead and use this. This is freaking humongous. You know what? We'll do this. So, where's the image I liked? I used it one time. I used it for a card. I really did. Oh, that's good right there. That's beautiful. Okay, so we're going to copy this image. All right, we're going to bring it over into Paint. All right, we'll make sure we don't have to trim anything. So I would not normally recommend stretching images like this at all. But for this tutorial, we're going to do it. Okay, and the reason you don't want to stretch images is because unlike the textures, images are super precise and have detail and whatnot that you kind of want to see. And Paint will just absolutely, oh God, just murder them. If you stretch it or anything like that too much, it just looks terrible. That's the ultimate downside of this program, to be honest. So I guess we could just place it right here. That's fine. All right, so now looks cool with the picture, right? Let's add some text. Let's see what we can make it look like with some text. And text, words make a huge difference. Honestly, text does. And where you place text makes a big difference too. So we're going to call this guy Blue Eyes Tight Dragon. Blue Eyes Tight Dragon. That's why not? Why not? Why not? Why? It's 28. That seems like a pretty good size. I like to take up as much of the text box as possible in the name, at least. I really like to in general, to be honest. I think it looks good. Okay, so Blue Eyes Tight Dragon. This is our first card. All right. Now we're going to put some text in here. We're going to go 11 for the size. I like to go 11 for the size, like the effect boxes, ability boxes, whatever you want to call them. So this guy's a dragon, right? So I like to use those little parentheses, and we're going to say this guy does some stuff to somebody, oh my goodness, buddy, in a way that they won't like and maybe will help you win the game. Bam. So that might be a really strong card in your game. Let me know in the comments down below. You know what? I'm terrible. Maybe perfect. Wow. All right, now we'll add some attack to this bad boy. We'll go 3,000 by 200. Why not? Why not? You know? We'll put this in the corner over here. Now this actually is a pretty bad texture for a box, and you can see that the numbers are kind of difficult to see because there's like a lot of darkness in the back of this box. Like there's a lot of black when I'm trying to put black text over it. So just keep that in mind. You know, this actually doesn't look great, these words. It's really cool. It's a cool image and it looks good up here. I mean, it still is kind of blending with this black over here, but you know, it's fine for now. But I wouldn't keep this for sure. I would not keep this. I'd use a different texture ultimately. Or I just wouldn't put text in certain spaces. And you don't want to be doing all that. You want to be able to write anywhere on your card. All right, you want to be able to write anywhere. Here we'll go wind, right? So I'm just going to show you what it does to put text in different places, the impact it can have on the imagery and the way your card looks, right? We'll make this one. No, not yet. We're going to throw some italics up in this bad boy, though. Just wait. All right, so we'll go wind. And say this card has a cost. We'll say it costs 3 somethings to play. All right, we're going to put that over here. Bam. And if we want to, you know, no. We could put like some little circles around this 3 if you wanted to, just for whatever reason. Here, we'll just do it. Why not? We could do something like this. We could grab the circle tool, zoom in all the way to make sure it's... I like to zoom in all the way on things sometimes to make sure they're uniform. And like really, I just want to get the circle barely around the 3. All right. Let's see. I don't want it to be touching the 3, obviously. Good enough. Okay, so now, you know, you'd want to have like a circle with somewhat of a border, but that probably looks better than just a 3, right? And if you want to, we can add like some flavor text here. So like, let's see, but we'll make it not as big as the rest of the text, and we'll put like quotations around it. Okay, this is gonna be cool. Watch this. This is gonna be super sick. Okay, so we'll put quotations. Is that a quotation? I guess not. All right, a dragon so ferocious. I'm not much of a typer, guys. Even macho, and we're also gonna make this not bold. And Randy, that's how you spell Randy. Slam Man had nightmares in his sleep. You know, because where else are you gonna have a nightmare, right? Okay, so let's make this unbolded. This is the italics. This is what I was talking about with the italics, you guys. Wow, and we'll make it like somewhere around right here. Okay, and then guess what? We're gonna do the cool like we can make some super small text down here. Now this looks really professional to do something like this, and you could write whatever the hell you want. It just looks nice. Honestly, it does. We'll go, Yu-Gi-Oh is not as good as Ruin. It's actually pretty terrible. Copyrighted 1997 6 through 2025. Bam. Okay. Look at that. How professional does that shit look, guys? Oh, boom. No one's going to read that. I mean, for reals. No one's going to read that. But whatever you want. All right. So I guess that's the finished product. So, you know, think about where we started with and then what we got to. This looks decent. This looks, you know, if you're just starting out doing something and somebody saw that you did this, I'm assuming they'd think, wow, it's not bad. All right. So now, if we're wanting to print our cards, what we're going to do is drag this over here, this bad boy over here. All right, we're going to copy, boom, and paste. All right. Just like that. And paste, boom. Okay, and we can print up to 6 at a time on any given piece of paper. So just like this, boom. So, you know, you get the gist, right? You could print anywhere from 1 to 6 cards on a piece of paper if you wanted to, on a piece of printer paper. And then you print them, go to File, Print, you know, let's go to Print Preview in this case. And you'd think you could fit another card right here. I promise you can't. I don't know why. It's paint. It's just paint, the way paint works. It's marvelous. It really is. But yeah, so you can print up to 6 cards with using this canvas and the particular card size I showed you at the beginning of the video. And that's pretty much it. You print the cards, cut them out, put them in front of cards and sleeves, and that's it. You know, you have some decent looking cards to test play with, you know, and if you just had an idea, now you have somewhat of a reality, which I think is pretty cool, honestly. But that's going to be it for this video. I believe we're going to have some more videos in the future, you know, detailing how to do this kind of in Photoshop and how to add more details to things and whatnot, like how you saw our template at the beginning. And that's pretty much going to be it. You guys have a good one.